speaker, Dr. Eddie Connor Jr.
Please welcome Dr. Eddie.
Eddie Connor has become a much in-demand motivational speaker.
Because when you speak to me, I can speak to the mountain and it
Television, radio, college campuses, and with faith.
Use what you have to be empowered and to be inspired.
Local author Eddie Connor's message to overcome obstacles and believe in yourself is something we all can associate with. And he's constantly giving back to the community.
I am joined now by local Detroit author Dr. Eddie Connor Jr.
The tragedy is to be gifted, but to never open the package.
Once I'm broken, that's when my anointing is getting ready to come out. That's when my gift is getting ready to flow.
Hey, how's it going, y'all? Yours truly, Dr. Eddie, best-selling author, empowerment speaker, just a servant leader who wants to take a little bit of time to give you some insight, information, and inspiration. And this is what I need you to do. I need you to tell somebody. I need you to tell everybody. I need you to holler at somebody and let them know that I'm right here. Share the link. Share if you care. Let somebody know that some inspiration, information, and insight is being streamed their way. That's it. Like, comment, share. Let them know we're here. This is a little something different. Generally used to going live on Facebook, Instagram, or even TikTok, but we're going on YouTube, right? So from me to you, hopefully you're taking some time out for yourself as well, and you will be in the next few days for your family also. Listen, let's jump right on into it. As you can see, tonight I want to share about headache or Helpmate, and really some steps, tips, tools, principles, just some information on really how to be somebody's aspirin and not their headache. To really give people just some insight into what relationships stand. I was reading something right before I logged on, and it was a quote from Deion Sanders. He said, coaching is about termination or elevation. And I think it speaks to not just coaching, I think it speaks to relationships as well. You know, are we going to elevate to another level, or are we going to terminate and go our separate ways? I really believe that relationships are like boarding an airplane. Too much baggage is going to cost you. And oftentimes with the baggage of what it is that we have, the things that we are dealing with in our childhood, the trauma, the triggers, the tempestuous trials, all of it, you know, it puts us really at a disarray when it comes to not just how we view somebody else, but really how we view ourselves. When you think about relationships, much less, you know, even marriage, a lot of times marriage will always be a mirage if you compare your spouse or you compare your relationship to somebody else. You know, we've become so enamored in celebrity-driven relationships and celebrity-driven culture that we think we have to be like them, or we're nothing in regards to who it is that we are. Robert Browning, he's a poet, he's a playwright. He said these words. He said, success in relationships is more than finding the right person. It is being the right person. Let me say that twice because it's also nice. Let me talk to the YouTube aisle in the back. Yeah, success in relationships or even marriage is about more than finding the right person. It is being the right person. And I think when you really think about relationships from that particular perspective, it really comes from the place of, before I ever say I do to anybody else, did I first say I do to myself? Right? And when I talk about did I say I do to myself, did I partner with my purpose? You can't expect a purpose partner if you have not first partnered with your purpose. What is your purpose? What is the reason why you were created? What are you on this planet to do beyond just go down the aisle with somebody, beyond just, you know, you getting a gift for Christmas, but you actually recognizing what your gift is, right? What is it, that particular aspect of who it is that you are, that makes you know you? You can't find the right one until you become the right one for the right one. And in many cases, the right one is you. Are you right for yourself before you ever right for anybody else? Right? Then the relationship will never be right if you only have the wrong view of yourself. The relationship will never be right if you have the wrong view of this person. And the relationship will never be right if you have the wrong view about your mentality and your mindset and who it is that you are. And in many cases, a lot of times we are a headache rather than a helpmate, because the first headache we cause is ourselves. When you've been hearing so much about mental health, when you've been hearing so much about people's mindset and mind state, and a lot of times people are stepping into relationships thinking that the relationship is going to solve their own issues, solve their own perspective of being isolated, solve their own particular perspective about feeling love, right? If you don't enjoy your own company, why would I expect to enjoy your company? If you can't be alone, what does that mean? Right? And here it is. You can be alone and not lonely. Yeah, for the person who's watching me, you may be in your single state, you may be in your single season. Singleness doesn't necessarily mean it's a curse. One is a whole number. Why are you allowing people to reduce you and make you feel like a fraction, or make you feel like you're less than or discounted, simply because you don't have somebody? Just having anybody without having the right somebody, you might as well not have anybody. Right? Because if you have somebody and they're not on your level, you're still alone. Let me say that again. Say that twice, because oh so nice. If you have somebody and they're not on your level, you're still alone. Level, not just financial. Right? We talk about how can two walk together except they be agreed. Right? We got to make sure that we are equally yoked. Doesn't necessarily mean, you make $1 million, I make $1 million. Doesn't necessarily mean financially. There are specific other aspects to that. What is the state of your mindset, your emotional development, right? Your emotional health, your emotional wellness, your emotional intelligence. A lot of times, many of us, we just go from 0 to 100 real quick, just because there may be a little fracture, a little fissure in the relationship. And now, folks go to cussing, folks go to fussing. Lord have mercy. Folks go to throwing some stuff. Right? And so a lot of us have not mastered emotional intelligence. We have not mastered our emotions. We have not mastered our mindset. And because we have not mastered that particular aspect, what makes you think you'll be able to master your relationships? You will get into a relationship with somebody because you got into a relationship out of weakness. And then, Lord have mercy, you get healed while you're in the relationship. You say, what in the world did I just do? I found my strength at a weak moment. And now here it is. I got to own it. I got to take the L. L is about more than a loss. L is about lesson. L is about self-love. L is about leveraging leadership. L is about not lying to myself about what it is that I want. What are my particular needs? Right? I hope y'all with me tonight. Listen, as you're coming into the room tonight, I need you to make sure that you tell somebody. Share if you care. We're talking about, are you a headache or a helpmate? Hey, are you a headache or a helpmate? Sometimes it's not your time to date. Sometimes it's your time to wait. Waiting on God is not a waste of time. Here's the thing about relationships. Too many of us have the mindset when we're in a relationship from the whole aspect of being served. That's where we come from, the table to a relationship. You say, what do you bring to the table? We come to the table looking to be served, but not looking to serve. Imagine yourself walking into a restaurant and you can't find no wait staff anywhere in the daytime with a flashlight. Right? Ain't nobody here to serve at all. Everybody here comes to be served. Everybody here came to eat. Everybody here got a plate. Ain't nobody gonna cook. Ain't nobody gonna take the order. Right? Ain't nobody gonna walk you to your seat. Ain't nobody gonna give you some nice salutations and greetings, anything. Right? And too many times we are like a customer versus a waiter or a waitress. Relationships will always go out of business if you only have a handout to take, but you don't have a handout to give. If you're only seeking that person's hand, but not their heart, things are going to fall apart. Right? If you rush it, you just might ruin it. Waiting on God is not a waste of time. It may not be your time to date. It just might be your time to wait. Waiting is not like you sitting at a bus stop. Waiting is not like you parked at the hotel or you in your crib waiting for that Uber to come pick you up, waiting for your car to come to get there. Waiting does not mean to be idle. Waiting means I need to roll up my sleeves. I need to start working my purpose. I need to start developing who it is that I am and whose that I am. You'll never know who you are until you know whose you are. Right? Waiting means I can't be idle. I got to get active. I got to get busy. I got to do something. Here it is. I got to work my purpose. If I expect a purpose partner, I got to first partner with my purpose. Somebody ought to find you. Somebody ought to connect with you. Somebody ought to collide with you in a place of what it is that you may be nursing, that you may be a professor, that you may be a teacher, that you may be in the church, that you may be serving in your community. Right? Somebody ought to find you doing something that is productive. That here it is, it's purposeful. That's what it boils down to, right? It may not be your time to date, it just might be your time to wait. When I'm waiting, I'm working, I'm serving. I'm not just sitting back in a Maybach, waiting for somebody to pick me up, waiting for somebody to give me a handout. That means I'm working, I'm doing something, and I'm being diligent with what it is that I've been assigned to do. I'm in alignment, here it is, with my assignment. Come on. If you're watching me, just put align, ALIGN. We're gonna have spelling bee class tonight. Just type the word align. I gotta be in alignment with my assignment. So I gotta be. Right? So if I'm waiting, I'm like a waiter or a waitress. I'm working, I'm serving, I'm in position, expecting, right? So that once whatever it is that I have requested is now ready, I'm in position. I'm now ready to receive what it is that I've requested. Here's the question for you. Are you ready to receive what it is that you have requested? Are you in divine alignment with your assignment? Do you know who you are? Do you know whose you are? You don't attract what you want. You attract who you are. Who are you at the core? Beyond your nail done, hair done, everything did, are you fancy, huh? I know you G'd up from the feet up, bro. I know your hair was whipped, dipped, fried, dyed, laid to the side, sis. Oh, you fancy, huh? Nail done, hair done, everything did. Are you fancy, huh? Oh, you fancy, huh? Don't act like you don't know what that song is. Right? So I have to be in alignment with my divine assignment. That means I'm in a place of, yes, preparation through prayer. I'm in a place of patience, right? I got to be patient with me. I got to be patient with my process. There are some things that, here it is, if you get into the relationship too soon, the ugly part of you is going to be too exposed. Lord, save me from not being ugly to people who are beautiful. I don't want to be ugly to folks who are beautiful. Because here's what a marriage will do. A marriage is a merger. Not only a marriage is a merger, a marriage is a mirror. A marriage is a ministry. And especially since marriage is a mirror, not only will it expose the beauty, it's going to also showcase the ugly. Here it is. Sometimes you can't even see your fractures. You can't see your trauma. You can't see your fissures until now you got somebody else who you connected with who sees something different in you than you see in yourself. Oh, you thought you was a catch me out in the dog's bow wow. You thought that you had it going on like that. Right? Because of what you look like on the outside. But what's the state of your attitude on the inside? Come on, what's the state of your attitude? Do you have an attitude of gratitude? Are you a headache or a helpmate? Helpmate is about more than just meeting the bills. I think our generation, we're caught in a place, here it is, we're caught in a place where relationships are in such calamity. Come on, relationships are such calamity. Now we're trying to embrace polyamory. Relationships are in such calamity Nobody seemingly knows what they want, and nobody wants to give what it is that they're even requesting. Right? And we're in a place that everybody is looking to find. Who can find a virtuous woman, to what we always talk about? Listen, we talk about Proverbs 31 verse 10 all the time. Who can find a virtuous woman, for her price is far above rubies. That has been preached from every molehill to every hilltop to every valley. That's been preached in every church, every pew, every aisle almost. Right? You know it by heart. Some people, folks ain't never even cracked the Bible. Some folks are atheist and agnostic, but they know that scripture. Right? Who can find a virtuous woman, for her price is far above rubies? Listen, if you can buy her, she ain't the one. Far above rubies. Do you know that the highest diamond was priced at $57.5 million? To find, you can find a diamond above sea level. You can go to the remote parts of Africa and find out that diamonds are forever. Right? Diamonds are a girl's best friend. Every kiss begins with K. Y'all know what it is. Right? But to find a ruby, here's what a ruby is. A ruby is not above sea level. A ruby is below sea level. To find a ruby, you literally have to be an oceanographer. What does that mean? I got to put on my scuba suit. I got to put on all of my scuba gear, and I got to take a deep dive into the oceanic floor. And I have to be an oceanographer to where I scoop out something that I wouldn't even be able to breathe unless I have the right equipment on. Here it is about a ruby. You can't find a ruby on every corner. You can't find a ruby everywhere. Right? You got to say to yourself, listen, I'm not a 7-Eleven. I'm a Ruth's Chris. Yeah, that's what it is. I'm not no thrift store. You can't come in and try me on anytime you want to. I'm a Saks Fifth Avenue. You're going to need a personal shopper. You're going to have to get an appointment to come and try any clothes on with me. You're going to have to get a reservation. 7-Eleven, you don't need a reservation. Ruth's Chris, you sure enough do. And you're going to have to make it well in advance. Right? But we talk about Proverbs 31 all the time. We can find a virtuous woman for a price is far above rubies. You got to say to yourself, listen, you can't find me anywhere because I'm rare. Oh, I like the way that sounds. You can't find me anywhere because I'm rare. One of my favorite books is Rare Air by Michael Jordan. It is iconic photos and images in this real big book of never before seen photos of Michael Jordan, one of my favorite basketball players of all time. We had a debate. I think he's the GOAT. I got love for Bron, but ain't nobody like MJ, right? But there's rare images of what you've never seen before, right? That speaks to who it is. Are you in rare air? You won't find me down here. You're gonna have to come up to be with me. You're gonna have to raise your level of intelligence. You're gonna have to raise your level of spiritual development. Come on, just type new level, new level, new level, new level, new level. Before I step into 2024, I got to leave certain things at the door. Before I step into 2024, wanting more, am I becoming more? Right? Am I becoming the right one for the right one? We talk about Proverbs 31 verse 10 all the time, but here's what we don't talk about. Here's what we don't talk about. Drum roll, please. Please forgive me for my brash delivery. Bring Jay-Z into the room. We talk about Proverbs 31 verse 10, but here's what we don't talk about. It's one of these Where's Waldo moments. It's one of these scriptures that you need a magnifying glass to find out. Because we've overlooked it. Some of us have read it and we said, nah, I ain't gonna talk about that one. Here's what we don't talk about. We don't talk about Proverbs chapter 20 verse 6. Now, I'm more English than math. I actually taught high school for about 12 years. Some folks would say you was 12 years a slave. But yeah, I taught history. I taught parts of English, things of that nature. I'm more English than math. But here's the thing. 20 comes before 31. A lot of times we're holding women to a standard that us as men have not held ourselves to. Brothers want sisters to be virtuous, but sisters want brothers to be faithful. Proverbs chapter 20, verse 6. Most men will proclaim their own goodness. Oh yeah, I got it like that. Look at all the stuff that I'm doing that's right. That's good. But here's the ... part of the clause. Most men will proclaim their own goodness, everyone his own goodness, but a faithful man who can find. I see somebody right now. You scrolling through that phone, you in your Bible app, you licking your fingers and you flipping through the Bible right now. Is that in there? Yes, it's in there. It's in there. Proverbs 20, verse 6. Most men will proclaim their own goodness, everyone his own goodness, but a faithful man who can find. Uh-oh. That's the dilemma. Because we talk about how a woman should dress. We talk about how a man should pursue or lack thereof. We talk about all these particular things, how certain celebrities, and I can name them, I can go down a list and a line about faithfulness, right, is in harm's way. But here's the thing. Brothers want sisters to be virtuous. Sisters want brothers to be faithful. And here's what we have. Here's what we have. What do we have here? We have a generation of genders who are both asking who can find. That's why you got red pill community. That's why you got MGTOW, men going their own way. That's why you have all of these things with don't you dare take me to Cheesecake Factory. All right? Got all these particular aspects and these particular things. But here's what we don't have. We don't have the particular aspect of who can find. A lot of looking, a lot of searching. But we have not gotten to the place of who can find. Searched all over. What did Vashawn Mitchell say? Couldn't find nobody. I looked high and low, still couldn't find nobody. I know it's a gospel song, but it pertains to the generation. We're all asking who can find. Asking who can find so much that people are not waiting 7 years to scratch their itch in a marriage. Asking who can find so much that 50% of marriages end in divorce. When you think about church, it might even be a little bit higher. Both genders are asking who can find. When in many cases, a lot of people are saying, you know what, marriage ain't even for me no more. Because it's too many clauses, too much heartbreak, it's too much heartache, it's too much of a headache, it's too much of a hindrance, and now it's affected my pocketbook. Right? Because a lot of times we have such a hand out to take, but do we have a heart to love? Do we have a heart to give? Here's the thing, waiting on God is not a waste of time. Being single ain't gonna kill you. Being married ain't gonna heal you. Because a lot of times we're stepping into relationships unhealed. Our wounds become even more exposed. And because wounds have not been healed, now we bleed on people who didn't cut us. Because of wounds that have not been healed from mother wounds. Because of the aspect of cuts that have not been closed from father wounds. Because you didn't see a good marriage. Now you don't feel like you're worthy of one. Because you experienced abuse. Now here it is. You become the abuser or you tolerate it. Simply because you have not elevated to a particular place in your life to where you feel you have to settle. But here's the thing. When you settle, you never get to the next level. Well, settling. Yeah, I ain't settling for nobody. Take me to Cheesecake Factory. You missing the mark. I ain't settling for nobody to get me a Dooney and Burke bag when I want a Birkin. You missing the mark. I'm not settling for a petite woman when I want one who is voluptuous. You missing the mark. Too many times we are choosing out of preference, not out of purpose. We focus solely on what our preference is. Here's the thing. Sometimes your type is the reason why you're single. Well, I keep attracting the same old person simply because I am the same old person. Nothing changes if nothing changes. And in many cases and in many times, we are attracting a new face with the same old disposition. We are attracting a new person who reflects our same old wounds and our same old issues. Simply because we have not taken the time, even here it is, to go through counseling, to go through therapy. What does Scripture say? In the multitude of counselors, there is safety. Are you surrounding yourself with people who want to see you grow, who want to see you flourish, who want to see you thrive, or who barely just want to see you itching and scratching and barely scratching to survive? You're alive. You survived. What am I doing to thrive in my disposition, in my relationships, and who it is that I am, and what it is that I'm moving higher, I'm aspiring higher to apprehend and be ingratiated in, right? Because a lot of times we have people who are enamored with a wedding. Yeah, they're enamored with a wedding, but they don't have the distance to endure a marriage. The wedding is the sprint. The marriage is a marathon. And here's one thing that we got to realize. Carrots without character is chaotic. Let me say that again. Carrots without character is chaotic. Don't matter how big the ring is. If I have not rung the alarm in regard to doing a check on my mindset. Here's what I heard somebody old school say. He said, listen, you'll never get over anybody laying under somebody. Uh-oh, let me say it twice because oh so nice. You'll never get over anybody just laying under somebody. Right? Give it, what was it? Luther Vandross, I think he said it. Busybody giving yourself to everybody, but you still feel like a nobody. Right? Because you can have a wonderful meal on a date and you still feel empty. You can be dressed to the nines. And I know you say, no, I'm on the tens. I go above and beyond. But you still feel exposed and you still feel naked. You can be around a whole myriad of people, a plethora of individuals. But you still feel alone. Simply because there's something that's eating at your subconscious. There's something that's eating at your psychosis. There's something that's eating at you from the inside out. And until you remedy the vestiges of your past, you will always crash into your past and you'll avoid your future. You'll never collide with your destiny because you're a detriment to yourself. And here's the thing. You got to realize this, that certain things didn't just happen to you, they happened for you. You will never be free for until you're free from. Okay, what am I free for? You fill in the blank. The right spouse in your house, partnering with your purpose, the next level in your mindset, the next level in your finances, in your income, your impact, your influence. You'll never be free for until you're free from the stain of the pain, the misuse and the abuse, forgiving people, here it is, who may have never given you an apology. Right? And until I forgive, I'll never really live. Until I forgive, it's like me drinking poison, expecting the perpetrator to get the wrong end of the stick and to get harmed, but I'm doing myself more harm. Here's the thing. Whoever you are in your singleness will either lead to a marital bless or a marital mess. Come on, am I successfully single? Have I mastered singleness? Right? Because here's the thing. Here's the word that we hate. We hate friend zone. Before you ever get into a relationship, this is what you need to do. You need to first be in a friendship. I want you to friend zone me because I don't want to move out of the zone into the wrong space and place. Finding out some things that I should have found out in the friendship phase and stage. That now I'm in the relationship stage and I'm saying, uh-oh, I'm stuck like Chuck in a pickup truck. I made the wrong move and I wasn't playing chess. I was playing checkers. I was playing Connect 4 and I connected to the wrong one. Right? I got to understand that Whoever I am in my singleness will either lead to a marital bless or a marital mess. Right? And it moves to the place. Sisters, are you a wife or a knife? Brothers, are you a husband or a hammer? Everybody, are you a headache or a helpmate? Which one is it? It's a fork in the road right here. You can't serve two masters. You can't go in two directions. You can't split yourself down the middle and go down both roads. You a wife or a knife? Right? Are you a cutter or a consoler? Are you a husband or a hammer? And sometimes a man ain't beating you with his fist. He's beating you with his words. Sometimes a sister isn't cutting you necessarily with a knife, brother, but she's cutting you with her tongue. Matter of fact, here it is. Her tongue is a gun. I think every man is going to rock with me on this one. Every man, listen, here it is like a boxer. I saw the movie Ali, and Ali played by Will Smith. Don't worry, I ain't going to slap nobody. You'll be all right. We got too much distance between us anyway. We social distanced. I ain't gonna have a Will Smith Chris Rock moment. Will was using his fist in this movie, right? He plays Ali, and everybody's focused on Muhammad Ali. Everybody's focused on the Will Smith character, but very few people focused on Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx played the role of Bundini. Jamie Foxx never threw a punch. Jamie Foxx, in many cases, got punched because he was a sparring partner. Jamie Foxx never stepped into the ring to take a punch or to give anybody a punch in that regard. But here's what he did. He remained in the corner. And I don't know about you. Just because people are around you doesn't mean they're with you. Do you have people, here it is, who are in your corner? I feel something happening. I know I'm talking about a helpmate, but I feel my help coming on. Right? Do you have people who are literally like a Bundini to a Muhammad Ali? That people are literally in your corner. When you turn around, they ain't talking about you. Here it is. They vouch for you in rooms that your feet haven't even stepped into. They want you to get the promotion, even if it doesn't go in their hands. Here's the thing about Bundini. Here's the thing about Jamie Foxx playing the Bundini character. Bundini was called a cut man. Not that he would cut Muhammad Ali, but based upon Ali going, 4 and no mo, 5 and they not gonna be alive. Down goes Frazier, Muhammad Ali and Frazier, all them epic, incredible fights. Whenever the bell was rung, not to start the fight, but when the bell was rung to end the round, Ali walked over to Bundini. And here's what Bundini did. Bundini didn't throw another punch at Ali, because that negates the whole aspect of what Bundini's role was to play. But when Ali came back to the corner, here's what it is. Bundini bandaged up the wounds and the cuts that Ali was exposed to, whether he had a mass over his right eye, whether he was bleeding out of his nose, whether he had a busted lip. Bundini would bandage it up. He used some antiseptic. He used some, whatever it was, some ointment, and put it on him, right? To where Ali could now go back and fight. And here's the thing. Every man is like Ali. Every man is a boxer. He knows when he steps into the ring, he's going to get hit. If he looks like me, he know he might be called the N-word. He know he might be mistreated by society. Matter of fact, not might be, will be. He knows he's going to exact a whole lot of vitriolic negativity in his life. But here's the thing. When he returns back to the corner, I don't know where the corner is. The corner might be on the phone with you. To my dear sister from another mister. The corner might be in the home because you're a spouse in the house. The corner might be on a date. The corner might be in a secluded environment and place to where now he's able to take off his cape because he can't be Superman and fly around all day. But he exposed himself to you as Clark Kent because beyond just his masculinity, he's moved into a place of vulnerability. Will you hit him and dog him out and talk to him negatively? Or will you bandage up his wounds and begin to call him the champ that he is? Begin to speak life into his life. Right? And the same thing that you do for him is what also he would do for you. Why? Because he's not a hammer. He's a husband. May not be your husband, but he's got the qualities of a husband that maybe the relationship would matriculate to, would mature to. Are you that wife or are you that knife? Are you a cutter or are you a consoler? Right? Because as I said before, we're talking about Proverbs chapter 20, verse 6 all the time. Proverbs chapter 31, rather, all the time. But we don't talk about Proverbs chapter 20, verse 6. Right? And here's the thing. Are you Proverbs 31 or are you Proverbs 32? You say Proverbs 32, yeah. You Proverbs 32, you too much. If a man wants you to be virtuous, here's the thing. He's got to be faithful. And here's the thing. Here's what it is. When you think about places like Atlanta, where I just came from, homeboy, a friend of mine told me, he said it's 13-1. And that was a couple years ago. Who knows where the numbers are now? 13-1 ratio, women to men. We talk a lot about all these things about what women should prepare to do. But here's the thing. If we made the relationship rhetoric so top heavy, are we preparing women for unprepared men? I want you to chew on that one right quick. Have we created such relationship rhetoric that is so top heavy that it focuses so much on the women, but not the men? To where now we have prepared a generation of women for a generation of unprepared men. Where was the last husband workshop that you saw? Where was the last how to become a husband for the right wife in your life conference? Oh no, but we got all the academies, we have all the conferences, we have all the workshops, we have all the seminars on how a woman should prepare for a man that in many cases might be unprepared. From the womb to the tomb, oftentimes women are taught how to be a wife. But from that same womb to the tomb, not only did we not always see examples of what a husband is supposed to be, a father is supposed to be, we weren't really taught. And it won't just happen by osmosis. It won't just happen simply because now you got a beard. It won't just happen just because you pull up in a Benz, pull up to the scene with your silly message. It won't just happen just because now you make you get a six-figure salary and a six-figure earner. It won't happen just because of that. It happens from the place of when I was a child, I spake as a child, understood as a child. But when I became a man, here it is, I got rid of childish ways. Things will not just leave. I wish when I was a kid I could have just snapped my fingers and my bed would have been made. All the toys that were under my bed would have been placed on the right shelves. No, I had to actively engage in cleaning up what it is that was messy in my life so that I could become what it is that I wanted to receive. What did grandmama say? Sweep around your own front door before you sweep around mine. Right? The sad indictment is this: what we have done in this generation. We have told sisters to keep their legs closed, but we've taught brothers how to keep their options open. I don't want to have that conversation. We tell sisters to keep their legs closed, but we tell brothers to keep their options open. Right? And society has created a double standard. That's why you see what we're seeing today, toxicity when it comes to podcasts. That's why you see gender wars. That's why you see battle of the sexes. And can't nobody get on one accord due to the discord of what it is that we have been experiencing. And now we have a generation of people who define love, here it is, as legs open very easily. Oh, it's tight, but it's going to be right. Don't send the kids out the room, bring them in. Right? We have defined love. Here it is, the acronym for love. Love ain't nothing more than a tattoo now. Love has more pain associated with it that people veer away from it. It don't want nothing to do with it. Because it's been defined as legs open very easily. What can I get rather than what can I give? What can I take versus who can I become? Are y'all with me tonight? Listen, if you're just coming into the room, I want you to share it. I want you to share it. Share if you care. We're having a courageous conversation tonight. How to be someone's helpmate, not a headache. Don't worry, I'm gonna give you. I've been giving you so much already now. But before this door is closed, before this digital door is closed tonight, I'm gonna give you a few tools and principles to walk away with if I have not already given those to you. There's more in store, and that's right before you get to 2024. Here it is. Some of us have been so fed up by, God forbid, a marriage, much less a toxic relationship, to where you say, I'm tired of being in relationships where my growth is stunted. Here's the thing. Whoever you intimidate will be who you eliminate. Period. That's on Mary Had a Little Lamb, 100. Right? Whoever you intimidate will be who you eliminate. Some people don't want to see you grow because they feel as if you're growing, you're now out of their grasp. They can't control you no more. Right? You pulling your own strings and you now refuse to be a Pinocchio to somebody's Geppetto. No, I'm cutting the strings. Here it is. I don't know who the rapper is, but let me quote it. Your price is way too high. You need to cut it. Cut the toxicity, cut the negativity, cut the strife in my life. Listen, if we're doing more arguing than we are getting along, something's wrong. Last time I checked, a relationship ain't the great debaters. What we arguing about? We doing more arguing than connecting? I'm tired of being in a relationship. I'm tired of being in a marriage where I pour out so much, but nobody pours back into me. I don't know if you ever been there, to where here it is, you're pouring from an empty cup because people have treated you in such a way to where they've made more withdrawals than deposits. Can I get somebody with me tonight? Got people in your life who have made more withdrawals than deposits. And here it is. You know what the bank account is. I don't know if you Chase. I don't know if you banking at Huntington. I don't know if you at a credit union. I don't know where you bank at. But you understand this. That if you make more withdrawals than deposits, we're going to have to close the account. You made an overdraft. And too many times when you think about the currency of our relationships, when you think about what your relational intelligence and emotional intelligence is on a scale, sometimes you have been bankrupted. You've been bankrupt, rather, by people who you have allowed to just take, and never give. And here's the thing. The more that you have extended, the more you felt, well, listen, I think they're going to love me more. More that you've given your heart. And here it is. Sometimes you out of money, and now it's your mindset that's being withdrawn. Because here it is. Here's what we have done to a detriment to ourselves. We have allowed our heart to take us where our mind can't keep us. Let me back it up. Let me put it in reverse, and then we're gonna drive. Let me park this thing right here. We have allowed our minds to take us where our hearts can't keep us. Here's the thing. Our heart to take us where our mind can't keep us. Here's what Scripture says. The heart is desperately wicked and deceitful. Above all, who can know it? The heart is desperately wicked. In many cases, to a certain degree, it's desperate. It's thirsty. It's parched, if not dehydrated. And deceitful. So here it is. Your heart will lie to you. And here's what we've been told. Follow your heart. The worst advice you can ever receive. One of the worst things that somebody can just tell you. And then you now follow it as a result. One day, here it is, one day your heart want a honey bun in the afternoon. And then by evening, you want salmon. One day your heart want this type of person. Next day your heart want that type of person. No, I got to make sure that I have my heart in God's hand so that whoever has and wants me has to seek God to find where it is that I am and locate me. Send me your location. Let's focus on communication. Right? Too many times, it's not that you're being cheated on, but you're being cheated out of your potential. Being cheated out of your potential. Like I said, whoever you intimidate will be who you eliminate. Some people have only appreciated you simply on a holiday, but treat you like an option any and every other day. People who are consistently inconsistent. And here's what you got to do. You got to get to the place to where you say, I got to do inventory on my relationships. Am I in a place to where I need to hire somebody? Am I in a place where I need to fire somebody? Am I in a place where I need to promote? Am I in a place where I need to demote? Hire, fire, promote, demote. Where am I at right now? Because here's the thing. and I wrote a book called Relationship Rules. It's on Amazon. It's on my website. As you see here, EddieConnor.com/shop. I got about 16 books out there. But one is Relationship Rules. I wrote it at the height of the pandemic. And one thing that I realized the pandemic taught us about relationships, here it is in the midst of social distancing, in the midst of COVID-19, from 1619 to COVID-19, not just relationships, but racial tensions reared its ugly head. One thing I realized about relationships is that COVID-19 taught us something, and that is, can you touch somebody without touching somebody? Can you be there without being there? Can you literally touch somebody's heart without using your hands? Right? Because here's at the end of the day, bruh, you ain't dating her cleavage. You ain't marrying her cleavage. You're marrying her character. Sis, I need you to understand something. You're not marrying his height. You're marrying his heart. Man, look at the outward appearance. And boy, do men do it. Man, look at the outward appearance. It didn't say woman, even though women do. But man, meaning humanity. We'll go in that aspect. Man, look at the outward appearance, because a lot of times us as men, we allow our visual acuity to cloud our vision. 36 curves like the letter S. But he soon found out that the sister was a snake. I'm coming down your aisle. I'm coming down your row. I'm about to park in front of your house, and when I get there, I'm gonna honk the horn, let you know I'm there. Tall, dark, and handsome. You wanted a brother who's 6 feet, 6 figures, and a six pack, and you put all them sixes together, you found out you had you a devil. 666. He wanted a Ruth. Found out she couldn't tell him the truth. She wanted a Boaz. Found out the brother was a bozo. And sometimes those are the folks in the church. I think I found my exit. Right? But I say all that to say, you're not marrying that person's cleavage, you're marrying that person's character. You're not marrying that person's height, you're marrying that person's heart. You're not marrying that person's car, you're marrying their character. You're not marrying their wallet, you're marrying their wisdom. What is it to have a Rolex, but you don't know what time it is? What is it for you to have designer glasses, but you don't have a vision? Having sight but no vision means you're still blind. Right? What is it for you to be G'd up from the feet up, and you got on your Gucci, you got on your Louis, you got on your Louboutin, you got your Louis Vuitton? Right? You got all that, but you're not clothed in a mentality. You don't have on, as scripture would say, the whole armor of God. You're not marrying the person's body. You're marrying their mentality. You can be a male and not be a man. You can be a female and not be a woman. Right? Ain't about what's below the waist, it's about what's above the neck that makes the difference. And we got to get to the place to where it is that we say all the time, I know my value and I know my worth. And this is what we do. We quantify it with what it is that we can purchase. Oh, I know my value. I know my worth. And you start looking at everything that you got on you. But what about what you have that's on the inside of you? What do you, since we want to talk about what we bring to the table, what do you bring to the table that the eyes cannot see? Because here it is, when we get to the table and a relationship goes awry and askew, a brother, you can't expect a woman not to want to pay you, want you to pay her bills if all you do is wave your dollar bills. Sis, you can't expect a man to not just want your body if all you bring to the table is meat. Courageous conversations. Hard truths tonight. What do I bring that the eyes can't see? Do I bring my goals? Do I bring my personality? Do I bring my attitude of gratitude? Do I bring my relationship with God? Do I bring the fact that I can get a prayer through for you? Do I bring the fact that I'm in your corner? When you've been hit, I know how to bandage you up. I know how to speak life into your life. I know how to build. Right? Beyond Netflix and chill, I know how to network and build. What intangibles that you bring that the eyes can't see? Because if not, you will be in relationships where you have to raise people. You will find yourself in relationships where your growth is being stunted. You will find yourself in a precarious place to where you pour so much out, but no one pours back into you. You'll find yourself going in circles with people who never want to make forward progress. And here's the thing, you got to refuse to settle when you've been called and anointed for the next level. You don't need anybody intimidated because of the anointing and the calling that is on your life. You don't need anybody intimidated because you're going to step out and do something different to get something different. Right? You need people who are going to champion the champion that is on the inside of you. Because here it is. For many of us, if Mary means misery, many of us don't want to be in it. Theatrical play said, I can do bad all by myself. No, you can do good all by yourself. Right? You can do good all by yourself. Simply because you have developed yourself to another level to where I'm attracting the right one. I'm becoming the right one for the right one because I'm not attracting what I want. I'm attracting who it is that I am. Listen, I'm almost out of time. I'm not out of truth. I got more content than I do have time. And I have to teach a class tonight. If you're not a part of our Eagles Academy, I want you to join our Eagles Academy. Yeah, we talk about relationships. We talk about increasing your ideas, your income, and your impact, and your influence. We talk about all of those particular aspects and things. It's a wonderful, incredible opportunity to soar into success with people who are purpose-driven. So if you want to be a part of this amazing Eagles Academy, we have live sessions each and every single Wednesday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And once you join, eagles put their nest in the mountains. Eagles think on another level. Eagles soar on another level. Eagles move on another level. Eagles build on another level. Eagles only surround themselves with eagles. Here's what I want to do. I want to share with you just a few tidbits that I want to itemize them. Maybe I just give you 3 of them tonight. I got way more in store, but time waits for no man or woman. And so let's get right to it. If you're going to really be your partner's helpmate and really not a headache, here's some things that you have to do. One is this, what you have to do. You got to free yourself from emotional baggage. I don't care if it's Louis Vuitton baggage. I don't care if it's Gucci baggage. I don't care if it's a Louis Vuitton trash bag. It's trash. As I told you before, if you might have missed it earlier in the conversation tonight, just type in the chat. Free yourself. I ain't talking about Fantasia tonight. This ain't a fantasy. This is a reality. Go ahead and free yourself. So if you don't want me, then don't talk to me. I want you to just type free yourself, free yourself, free yourself. Those of you who are watching this on YouTube, I think that's where we're streaming at. I want you to write free yourself. That's what you got to do. Free yourself from emotional baggage. Relationships are like boarding an airplane. Too much baggage is going to cost you. I don't fly Spirit, but some of us don't have the right spirit. And as a result of it, simply because our spirit has not been developed, because it has not been enhanced, now we're carrying the baggage of others. We're carrying the baggage that here it is that we have not unloaded. And here's the thing. Freeing yourself from emotional baggage does not mean that you go into a relationship or a marriage to where you have none at all. What you've done is you've rid yourself of what is toxic, and that is an impediment to the next level of the relationship. Here's the thing. What we call baggage is oftentimes garbage. And what we are doing, we have allowed people to dump junk on us. We dump junk on ourselves because we move into a place of stinking thinking. Your auntie, your uncle, your mom and them told you wasn't going to never be nothing. You've internalized that. And now you believe you're not going to be nothing either. The devil is a lie. Right? Stop jumping oceans for people who wouldn't cross puddles for you. Here's the thing. When I free myself from emotional baggage, I understand this. I have to channel my emotions, but I have to understand this. Emotions are not a bad thing. Emotions are bad leaders. Unchecked emotions will ruin your life. Uncontrolled emotions. Sometimes you need a good cry. Sometimes you need a brisk walk. Sometimes you need to write out your feelings. Sometimes you need to go to therapy and counseling. All of that to get a handle on your emotions. But you can't allow your emotions to now be a destructive element to a relationship. And here's what we do. Because we see so much potentiality in somebody, we see the potential, but sometimes the potential never becomes kinetic. We give CPR to dead relationships. Here's what I want you to do tonight. Stop trying to revive what should have never been restored. Let me say that again. Stop trying to recycle. Stop trying to revive what should have never been restored. Some people, you just need to love from a distance. You got to get control of your emotions before your emotions take control of you. You can't be irrational. You can't be impulsive. You got to find the emotional breakthrough, and that comes with the level of emotional intelligence. What am I feeling? Why am I feeling it? What are the triggers in my past? What is the trauma and the emotions of what it is that I have not dealt with, that now I project that onto somebody else? Here's the thing. If you don't get a handle on the garbage that a lot of times we want to classify as baggage, here's what you'll do. You'll find yourself doing permanent things with temporary people. Doing permanent things with temporary people leaves permanent scars. This is about finding wisdom from your wounds. This is about finding breakthrough from the brokenness of what it is that you have experienced. Here's one. I want to throw this wild card out there. Told you, number one, free yourself. Number two, here's a question that you got to ask. Who raised you? Listen, sometimes this is why you find yourself with a headache and not a helpmate. And here's the thing. A lot of us don't ask the real deep questions. Beyond who's your favorite entertainer? Beyond what's your favorite color? Beyond what's the last concert you went to? Where did you fly at last? But here's what we don't do. We don't ask and find out how people were raised. What is that particular person's belief system? Where is their value structure? What upsets somebody? I can't believe this person just tripped out on me like this. I ain't never seen them act like this at all. You ignored the signs. Here's what you didn't do. You didn't allow yourself to go through the seasons with people. And here it is. Maybe the season is the reason why the relationship is expired. Right? When I say going through the season with people, did you go through the spring? Did you go through the summer? Did you go through the winter? Did you go through the fall? Oh, I see their attitude springing up in the spring. Oh, they want to be a hot boy and a hot girl in the summertime. Now they want to fall back in the fall. And in the winter, they don't feel like a winner. They feel like a loser. People change. My Bible tells me Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. He don't change. How you meet him is who he is. He don't change to be with you. You got to change to be with them, with him. Talk to me. I can't get no help. But here it is. You ain't Jesus and neither are they. You change and so do they too. How do they handle loss in their life? How do they handle financial difficulty? What does love mean to them? Did they see love exemplified in their life? Did they come from a two-parent household? How has that affected their life if they did not? How has it affected their life if they did? Because every two-parent household ain't a good household. Come on now. I'm a living witness being raised by a single parent mother. Sometimes one good parent is better than two bad ones. We ain't talking about parenting tonight. We don't ask the deep questions, but here it is. We need to. Because this is what we find ourselves doing. We find ourselves loving people the way that we want to love them, not the way that they need to be loved. And when I only love you from my particular perspective, when I only love you based upon the way that I love the last person, I'm being selfish. I'm not being selfless. Have you ever heard somebody ask you in the relationship, well, if you just asked me, I would have told you. I ain't acting brand new. This has always been me. Right? I got to learn how to pause. I got to learn how to ponder. I got to learn how to be patient. I also have to learn how to pose questions so that I can find out how somebody was raised. Because as Dr. Sigmund Freud said, we are in adulthood what we have experienced in childhood. Some things you never get over. You just have to manage. And negative childhood experiences, relational experiences as well, will have a deleterious implication and an impact on adulthood until we heal from the trauma. I got to go. I'm over time. I'm over time tonight. I got to teach a class in our academy at 7:30. Here's what I want to give my last one. Talk about being a helpmate, not a headache. I hope you got something from this tonight. But I want to give you this one. Last but not least, I told you free yourself. I told you as well about what did I say? Yeah, I talked about who raised you. And last but not least, I need you to understand this. Boundaries are a blessing. Boundaries are a blessing. Too often, we don't even know what boundaries are. Because we allow people to do whatever it is they want to. We allow people to talk to us any type of way. And here's one thing you got to realize this. You are not a doormat. Stop allowing people to walk all over you. Boundaries are not a barrier. Need you to understand this. Boundaries are a bridge. A barrier is just the fact that I'm building a wall and I'm not allowing anybody into my life. A bridge says, listen, for me to cross this bridge, I got to show some particular type of identification. For me to cross this particular bridge, I got to be doing the particular type of speed limit. For me to cross this bridge, I now have access to my personal bridge of whether I want to allow you to cross my bridge or I want to keep you out. Simply because I'm looking at the fruit, but I'm also looking at the root. And oftentimes the fruit of people's actions is dictated upon the root of where it is that they are planted in. Some people are attracted to you not simply because they're just looking for love, but they're attracted to you because they're looking for help. You're a come up for them. You meet a need, you fill a void. And sometimes your healing attracts people who are hurting. People become a moth to your flame. Hurting people hurt people. Heal people heal people. And here's the thing. When you don't have boundaries, you don't find yourself in a healthy relationship. Here's what you do. You find yourself in a situationship. I haven't heard this one. But you also find yourself, and here's the word, in a rehabilitationship. Yeah, you heard a situationship. But you find yourself in a rehabilitationship. Why? Because now you're trying to fix somebody who's broken. You got to build a woman. You got to build a bear. You got to build a man. You trying to fix a grown boy. You trying to fix a grown girl. You got to establish boundaries for your own sanity. Got to. Because me creating boundaries for myself means, here it is, I may lose out on a date, but I actually gained a greater level of love from within. Right? I don't want a date to be a death sentence. Spiritually, emotionally, psychologically, relationally. If you don't know what you want, somebody's going to decide what you get. Because here's the thing, you never really lost out on a date. You never really lose what wasn't meant for you in the first place. But you need to establish boundaries for yourself, but you also need to see what are the boundaries that somebody else has for themselves. If they don't have no boundaries and can't respect the boundaries for themselves, they sure enough ain't gonna respect the boundaries that you have. Boundaries are not threats. Boundaries are not demands. Boundaries are simply what I and what you desire in a particular relationship. Now, if that's a headache to somebody, they'll never be a helpmate to you. I need an aspirin, not a headache. I don't need somebody to create more problems. I need them to give me strategies and solutions to help me solve what it is that I'm dealing with. It's better to have the right one than to settle for the wrong one in the first place. Listen, I hope you got something from this tonight. I want you to like, I want you to comment, I want you to share, I want you to subscribe. Yeah, I want you to subscribe. You know, when you're talking about the algorithm and all that other stuff, every like, every comment, every share, every subscription matters. And so this felt good tonight. You'll be seeing more of my face in this digital space. Not just with videos, but live sessions like this. So I hope I was able to help something come alive in your spirit again. If you're not part of our Eagles Academy, I want you to join our Eagles Academy. We have so much insight. We focus on God, goals, gifts, greatness, relationships, just really how to make your life work, business strategies, ideas. Hey, we keep it 100 just like I did tonight. So, again, check us out, eaglesacademy.com. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. We don't stop. Connect with me there at EddieConnorJr. Connect with me there. I got some books out there as well. I got a few books out there. They're on Amazon. They're also on my website, EddieConnor.com. Put some respect on my name, please. EddieConnor.com /shop. And I don't know, maybe did I say it all? If you want to be a writer, since I've written a number of books, I'm also helping people to write their book. I have something called the best-selling book blueprint that really empowers you It gives you just the whole play-by-play, every strategy that I have used to write my books, but also to be bestsellers, to go #1 on Amazon. I'm giving you all that information. AccessIdentity.org/author. If you want to develop yourself as a speaker, it's time for you to pour into yourself and invest in yourself. AccessIdentity.org/speaker. Got a digital training out there that's going to be absolutely sensational and motivational for you to really show how to communicate your message with clarity, confidently, and in a way that is concise. All right. Peace and love, y'all. I got to go teach a little bit more, but it's going to be absolutely amazing, sensational. TheEaglesAcademy.com. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you again. Peace and love.